Welcome back to The Explainer. Think about nature for just a second. The absolute deepest rivers, they flow completely silently. And the strongest, most resilient trees in the forest, they grow without making a sound. Now contrast that with us. In today's hyper-connected world, we're basically conditioned to broadcast every single thought we have. But today, we're going to flip that script. We're exploring the very real power of silence, and specifically, the 5 vital things you should absolutely keep private if you want to protect your future.
Okay, let's dive into this. Have you ever wondered why some people announce every single plan, every new goal, every grand idea to the world, yet years later, they are standing in the exact same place? Well, we live in an era fueled by a modern illusion. We've actually tricked ourselves into believing that announcing our goals is the exact same thing as achieving them. See, when you get that rush of likes or comments on social media, your brain releases the exact same reward chemicals as if you did the hard work. It feels amazing, but honestly, it's a trap.
And this brings us to a foundational truth we're unpacking today. Silence is power. Think of your newest, biggest idea as a tiny, incredibly fragile seed buried underground. If you dig it up every single day just to show people how it's growing, what happens? It dies. Silence is the nutrient-rich soil. It's what protects that fragile seed from the harsh, critical winds of public opinion until it's actually strong enough to survive on its own.
So here's our roadmap. We'll be exploring 5 key areas that demand your silence. Protecting your dreams, hiding your success secrets, guarding your personal problems, keeping your finances private, and keeping your future plans under wraps. Mastering these 5 pillars is exactly how you become the architect of your own life, working powerfully behind the scenes.
Let's start with pillar number 1, protect your dreams. Consider a young man named Daniel. He had this fiery, exciting business dream, but the very moment he shared it, the negativity, the doubts, the unsolicited advice from everyone around him, it weighed him down like stones in a backpack until his dream just stalled out entirely.
Here's a surprising psychological trap at play here. Studies actually show that loudly announcing a dream tricks your brain. You get a massive dopamine hit from all that early praise, so your brain registers a false sense of achievement. And the cruel irony? You stop doing the actual work. Talking literally becomes a biological replacement for doing.
The ultimate difference here is pretty stark. A dream spoken out loud to everyone, that just becomes a debate. It's just a casual discussion for other people to weigh in on. But a dream protected by focused action, that becomes reality. Let's be real. The world doesn't reward announcements. It rewards relentless, quiet action.
Moving right along to pillar number 2, hide your success secrets. Take Sarah's story. When she finally achieved massive success, she decided to openly share her methods. But she quickly learned a really harsh truth. People rarely want to do the actual work. Mostly, they just want to compare themselves to you, criticize your methods, or blindly copy you without putting in the effort.
The reality is, there is no magic pill. True success secrets aren't some quick hack you can casually explain at a dinner party. They are Step 1, early mornings. Step 2, late nights. Step 3, completely unseen, unglamorous discipline. Success is a grueling process built on thousands of invisible actions that no one else sees, and frankly, very few are willing to endure.
So the crucial point here is this. Success actually grows best when it's protected by humility. The talker spends all their energy seeking attention just to prove themselves to others. And that early ego stroke, it stops their actual progress dead in its tracks. But the doer remains quiet. They seek continuous growth to improve themselves, knowing full well that success isn't some shiny trophy you put on display. It's a responsibility you protect.
All right, our third pillar, guard your personal problems. Think about Michael. He went through a really hard year and shared his deep struggles with everyone, just looking for some temporary relief. But he discovered a pretty harsh reality. People were mostly just gossiping about his pain, not actually committed to helping him out.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how we can compare this to a physical wound. Say you have a deep cut on your arm. You definitely wouldn't walk down the street pulling off the bandage to show that open wound to every random stranger you meet, right? That just exposes it to infection. Well, emotional problems are exactly the same way. An emotional wound is a private struggle. It requires protection and a clean environment to properly heal. Public exposure just invites the infection of gossip and unsolicited judgment.
Furthermore, constantly discussing your difficulties kind of traps you in the pain. For the talker, complaining almost becomes a full-time hobby, and slowly the problem morphs into their entire identity. But the doer takes a totally different approach.
Strong people acknowledge the hard reality, sure, but they seek out a few highly trusted mentors for real advice, and then they fight their battles quietly. They focus entirely on the solution, not the broadcast.
Let's transition to the fourth pillar. Keep finances private. Look, money is not just paper. It is deeply, fundamentally tied to human emotion and relationships. Exposing your income, your investments, your overall wealth acts like a giant magnet for dangerous distractions. And honestly, it can fundamentally alter how people look at you.
The source gives us this brilliant comparison of two men making the exact same good income. The first man immediately spends it all on luxury items just to get compliments and attention. He is solely focused on looking rich. The second man? He quietly saves, learns, and invests. He focuses on being rich. The first man chases appearances and ends up totally trapped. The second chases true freedom. Ask yourself which one of those is actually more valuable.
When you broadcast your financial success, you're immediately inviting a snowball of unintended consequences. We're talking unwanted curiosity, deep-seated comparison and jealousy, growing totally unfair expectations that you should always be the one picking up the tab. All of this leads to dangerous distractions. Remember, money is just a tool to buy you freedom. It is absolutely not your entire identity, and it definitely shouldn't be your personal billboard.
And finally, pillar number 5, your next move. When a guy named Ethan finally had a massive breakthrough idea to change his repetitive life, he felt incredible momentum. But he made one fatal mistake. He told everyone his grand plan. And almost overnight, that amazing momentum completely died. Let's move to and see how this builds across a timeline, because it's fascinating. Look at the life cycle of a broadcasted idea. Day 1, Ethan has his brilliant new idea. By day 10, he's announced it to literally everyone he knows. By day 30, he's just coasting on the false success and the premature praise from his friends. And by day 100, absolutely nothing has changed. He is right back where he started. This timeline is tragic, but it proves exactly why attention is so often the greatest enemy of actual progress. Ultimately, it comes down to the mindset of the builder. The talker will excitedly show you the blueprints of the mansion they're gonna build for years and years, but they'll never actually pour the concrete. The builder, on the other hand, says very little. They just show up, put their head down, and lay one single brick every single day. Success belongs solely to the people who are willing to put in the grueling work when absolutely nobody is cheering them on.
So let's bring all of these concepts together. You are the architect of your own life. And just as a seed needs the dark underground to sprout, and a massive skyscraper requires a massive hidden foundation, your success must be built in private.
When you choose the power of silence, you are making a conscious, powerful decision to be a protector. You are protecting your focus from distractions. You are protecting your peace from unnecessary drama and jealousy. And most importantly, you are protecting your future from the heavy weight of other people's opinions. Which leaves us with one final, absolutely vital question today as we wrap up this explainer. Will your next move be a loud announcement seeking cheap applause, or will it be a quiet, relentless action? I challenge you. Stop seeking permission, stop looking for immediate validation, and let your future results speak entirely for themselves. Thank you so much for joining me today. Keep learning, keep building, and I'll see you next time.